Hey there guys, so Marketer just dropped the new patch preview notes for 11.5, so let's just jump right straight into them. So first thing are the item buffs. So we have Black Cleaver is removing the Butcher passive, and the cost is going from 2300 to 3100, the health is going up 100, and now dealing physical damage to a champion grants 5 movement speed per stack of Carve on them for 2 seconds. Personally, this looks like a pretty good change, because with the new Black Cleaver, it seemed pretty good with the Carve and the Butcher passive, and it just didn't really work out. I don't see almost anyone ever build it. So making it cheaper and giving it back the move speed that people really miss might just be enough. And if not, then you'll probably see some users use it like Nar and stuff who really missed having the Black Cleaver. Mob on Mortis is going down from 2,100 to 2,800 gold. That's fair. The item is really expensive for what it is. Honestly, most people sit on Hex Drinker for a long time and then just sell it off and buy something else, because the full item isn't really worth it. Serpent's Fang Shield Reaver. Dealing damage reduces incoming shields by 50 and 25% for 3 seconds when you damage an enemy who is unaffected by Shield Reaver. The reduced shields on them are 50 to 25% melee and range respectively. Really interesting change here. This is what I thought it was going to be like when it was on PvE when the first items were coming out, because it makes more sense to be a percentage, kind of like Grievous Wounds. But then they did the flat total AD damage for the shields, and I haven't seen almost anyone buy it because it's not that great of an item. But hopefully this makes it better. I don't know, the item's a little weirdly statted, especially being like one of the highest lethality items. I mean, it's nice for Pike, right? But like other people, it's kind of hard to justify the purchase stat wise. Item adjustments. So the dash distance on Stridebreaker is up 100 from 200. The slow amount's down from 60 to 40, and the damage is from 100 to 75 total AD. So kind of interesting. I feel like it's a nerf more than an adjustment. Yeah, you get a little bit more distance, only 100 though, but the slow is taking down quite a bit, and same with the damage. The damage was never that high anyways. It was more about the slow, but maybe the distance is enough. That's definitely a weird change. Mirror Mana. Attacks and abilities deal 2.5% max mana damage. Now is attacks deal 1.5 max mana damage, and abilities deal 3.5% or 2.7 if ranged max mana plus 6% total AD. That's definitely a buff more than an adjustment, because the people who use Mirror Mana are usually spellcasters. Like the first that comes to mind is obviously Ezreal and stuff, right? So like it's okay if their regular autos are doing 1% less, as long as their abilities are doing what, about 0.2% more with the 6% total AD ratio on it too. And this doesn't even count melee people like Jason stuff. Like I think that's definitely a big buff overall, especially for the people who do use Mirror Mana. So here we go to champion nerfs. Then we have Seraphine first with her passive ally notes, dealing from 100 to 25% increased damage, and the note decay after the first one's removed. The R cooldown has also gone up by 20 seconds rank 1, and the passive note damage as well, it went from 4 to 16 smooth leveled out to a 4 to 24 at breakpoints of 1, 6, 11, 16. So these changes there's quite a bit of them, but they're not substantially huge, because they want to just get her out of doing a lot of damage through passive, so she isn't an AD carry anymore and is still stuck to being a mage mid or support. I think this will probably work because her notes really do a lot of damage. As an ADC, it's really hard to play against, especially since it gives her the extra range. So taking out a note damage was a smart idea, and then also just giving it a smaller nerf too, because she is pretty oppressive and strong. With adding 20 more seconds on her R is pretty good too. There'll probably be more nerfs to come though, as she's a really frustrating champion for many people to play. Udyr's health per level went from 99 to 92, and his R total aura damage went from 50 to 75 to 40 to 40. That's pretty substantial as well, since most Udyrs aren't going Aftershock, they're all going Phase Rush because it's much better. This means he's just less tanky overall. And they're doing the same thing to Rammus here, where his health per level went from 95 to 80. Makes sense, these tank jungles are really shredding it up in the lanes for people. Shaco support. Yeah, so this one I'm a little upset about, because I've actually been spamming Shaco support myself. Been getting a lot of success with it in ranked and having some people flame me, but it's okay. I just have a lot of fun playing now on stream and stuff. So they're lowering his box's AoE damage from 15 to 35 per shot to 10 to 30 per shot, which let alone is huge. And the single target damage from 35 to 95 to 25 to 85. But his box will now deal an additional 10 to 50 damage to monsters. So the bright side is, yeah, they're gutting him in support, but thank God they're at least buffing him, because he's really bad as a jungler anyways. And I don't know if 10 to 50 damage to monsters is going to be enough, but it'll definitely be very nice. And I probably just won't play Shaco support, as That is a lot of damage per shot on my boxes. So I moved on to greater and better things. Rel, base armor down from 35 to 32, and W cooldown is an extra 2 seconds, which is pretty nice. I mean, gives you a lot more room to punish and play, because if a Rel misses her W, it's pretty much over, because she's in a really bad spot afterwards. Azir, now this one's interesting. The W soldier auto attack damage 60 to 50 to 150. That definitely a pro play nerf. There's no way. Like, no one plays Azir enough in any elo and performs well enough. So this is definitely a pro play nerf. Same with the Gragas one as well. With the Q mana cost going from 60 to 80 to a flat 80 now as well. So Azir and Gragas players out there are gonna be quite upset. And then the nerfing Senna as well. This is pretty nice. So if anyone knows and been playing, there is a Kraken Slayer Rageblade build on Senna that is being abused because it's so strong, since Senna can overgo 100% crit to keep stacking Rageblade. So she'll no longer gain crit chance when she's over 100%, and instead the excess crit is now granted as lifesteal. So now she'll have more survivability, but will not be able to do the Rageblade Kraken Slayer build as effectively because she won't have infinite scaling damage. Kind of an interesting one. I'm not sure where they're heading with Senna. We're granting more lifesteal. They've had a lot of trouble with her, and they've been working a lot about trying to give her AP ratios and doing this now. And she's even scheduled for a smaller scale update later this year. So if you're a Senna player, you know, just get ready to change all the time, I guess. Then we got a champion buff. Some of these buffs are pretty massive and pretty scary. Not gonna lie, this Pike one is pretty nuts. So the passive great health storage was about 20 to 50% by the champ level on the damage taken. So now it's a flat 10% with 25% scaling lethality, up to a 35% with 50% lethality when 2 or more enemies are nearby. So it seems like it's a little bit worse since it is a little bit less. But when you go, most Pikes are building like a majority of lethality items since he scales lethality everywhere. So in the grand scheme of it, you're actually gonna get a lot more as long as you have 2 lethality items. And giving him more great health storage when he's around more champions will feel a lot better in lane, so he won't have this massive health bar that he just regens in lane or in 1v1s compared to when he has it in team fights. So I think it's a really smart change. Karma got another buff this patch. She's been buffed, I think, every patch for the last 3 patches, so get ready to see Karma. She's eventually going to be really good. So this time around, her Q cooldown went from 9 to 7 seconds to 8 to 6. Really good change, not going to lie. Always lowering the cooldown of a main damage spell is pretty big for someone. Trundle's Q cooldown went from 4 to 3.5. I mean, I guess that's the same like methodology there, where his main damage spell is on a lower cooldown, so it'll be a bit better, but it's a 0.5. I don't think it's going to be a massive difference for people out there. This Master Yi one's pretty huge though. E on hit damage went from 18 to 50 to 20 to 60. Remember, his E on hit damage is true damage, so really huge here. And then this double strike being able to proc it twice as well. Syndrani's W second hit damage went from 5.25 max HP to 6, so just rounding it out by 0.75. It's gonna be nicer for skirmishes and clearing. Jax's AD per level has went up as well by 1 AD, so he has a much more easier time scaling. And Kog'Maw's W on hit magic damage went from 3.3 to 6% max HP to 3 to 7%. I know the 1% seems like it's not much, but this is the kind of change that has tipped Kog'Maw over before and ruined Kog'Maw before as well. So if this tips him over, I could immediately see them revert it the next patch. And it's definitely something that's really scary to think about. Even if it's only 1%, with how fast Kog'Maw autos and how safe he is when he's doing it, it'll stack up and add a lot. They also give Qiyana pretty big buffs here, which I was pretty surprised about, with her W on hit damage going from 840 to 864 now, and her W move speed from 510 to 513%, and her R damage from 100 to 240 to 100 300. Honestly, I have never seen a Qiyana at all since the season started. I just barely ever see Qiyana, so I have no thoughts about it. I mean, I guess it's nice because then maybe more people play her, and maybe she's struggling, but very interesting change. It's a good change though. More damage, move speed, R damage too. Does some good changes. Then they also, as we expected, buffing Samira a little bit since they went really hard on those last nerfs, giving us some AD per level back, and her Q damage ratio is also getting a little bit more love to get more scaling in the late game. So that's pretty insane. And then the champion adjustment, Twitch AD versus AP. So the passive AP ratio is going from 3% to 2.5%, and the RAD ratio, or not the ratio, but the RAD flat you get when you ultimate is going from 2555 to 3060. and the duration is going up a second. Now, this is an interesting change because they want to move Twitch into a more AD route without killing this AP route. But taking 0.5% off his AP is probably not enough. And AP Twitch likes his ult lasting longer and giving him the AD boost as well, because people like Rat have done like a more hybrid build. So this is a bit interesting. They might have to do more here. So I'm not sure how they're going to do it. But overall, the patch is, dare I say, pretty good. Some of the nerfs are questionable. Some of these buffs are pretty good. And some of them are just really straight up scary. Hopefully these will be the official notes when they come out. And maybe they take a extra approach to Twitch as well. But overall, everything is pretty solid here. I would just like to see them do a little bit more to Twitch, since it's a really big pain point for most people out there. But that about does it for me, guys. Thanks for being here, and that was the patch preview 11.5 notes. Consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps you out a ton. I know I've been kind of me on the content, but if you join on my Discord or Twitch, we've been hanging out there a lot, and in the community post too. Love you guys. Always appreciate the support. Have a good day.